So as you can recall in the last video, it was just about freezing cold, pouring down rain, and it was nasty cold. It's warmed up today. It's about 40 degrees out. I can work in this. In fact, it's just warm enough for this jacket I have on, which is making me about ready to make me sweat. So you have to pardon the gigantic mess on my desk. I've got all kinds of crap going on. I got a cylinder head for this that's waiting to go on. I've got coffee. Anyways, so this is my relay kit for the for these guys here. This relay is rated for, what did this say? I got this for like 10 bucks, about the same quality as the one you get from Napa, and I actually have one similar. It's a Pilot one. In fact, it's probably this pretty much the same as this one. It's right here. I've had that in there for years and it's been working fine. So it's rated for 40 amps. What is that one right? That one's rated for 30. I'd say 30 amps is safe on this at 12 volts. These pods down here all together, I think these are 10 watts each. I think the pair makes 20. Yeah, they said they're 20 watt, but I think what they're going by is the pair is at 20 watts. So we should have 40 watts there. And this thing's running, I'm pushing 14 and a half to 15 volts. So we're looking at about 2.5 to 3.5 amps draw. So we won't be drawing a whole lot of power, and I think this wire here is good enough for it. So let me get I can get this separated here. So they give you a pretty good length. I'm trying to figure out where exactly I want to tie this into. I want this to get direct battery power. This here, this wire here is okay, hang on. Let's get untangled here. So this mamma jamma, this will go in your cab, and you're like click 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 click, you know, it turns on the lights. Well, what I'm gonna do with this, and I do the same thing with that one there, is you pretty much just need to get the wire that, and I want to say it's gonna be this red wire here. If you apply between 6 and 12 volts to it, it'll click this relay on, and it'll send power from the battery through the relay into your lights. So I have a switch that used to run my headlights, but I've actually went back and restored my factory connection. So I have factory H4 plugs, and then everything just loomed back together. So this wire here, this bare wire, used to power the high beam circuit on this, and it would run my HIDs. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use this to turn on the relay. Now my switch for that is right here, because I really don't want to have to take this back apart. I got it all set up. You know, I got backup lights, light bar, and these are going to be the fog lights. That actually has power going through it right now, so I don't want to mess with it too much. So that's the thing. I got a wire right here already. I'm just gonna solder it. I'm trying to find a good spot for that relay. I may, actually, you know what? I think what we'll do, we'll mount the relay over here, since we've got power and ground readily available. So we'll mount it over here somewhere. You know, maybe even over here, and I could actually run the power wire to there. I mean, that'll work. Is that? It's not really wide enough, but I know it'll fit this. I may just undo that and put it there. So we'll find a good home for that. But if I don't have to modify these, I can just drop them in. That'd be cool. And then this guy here, we'll run him along somewhere. Probably just run him along here and zip tie him here, and maybe drill a hole there so I can zip tie it. So it'll run across, and then that wire will go down. It'll get key on, or not key on, switch on. So this here is just the yellow wire is just another. It's for one of the LEDs. But if I apply, I know if I apply power to this, or no, it's not for the LEDs. Excuse me, because power's always running through those LEDs. One of them, anyways. I'm getting off on a tangent here. So we can get rid of these two here. We just apply power to that. This is already grounded out because it's going to be hooked to the battery. It'll be as simple as just taking the one wire, soldering it to here, and away we go. So that's good there. What I need to do is I need to make a loom where these all get connected together. We'll solder all these grounds together, heat shrink and whatnot, and then we'll get a thicker red wire, and we're going to solder that. Wire comes along, solder it here, solder here, solder here, and then it goes off to this guy. I'm going to see if I can find spades for this, because then I can just plug them in. Or actually, even better, I think I have a 2-pin plug somewhere. So I'm gonna basically set this up how I think it'll work, and then I'll start the camera again and we'll solder them up. It's cold, but it's not as cold as it was the other day. At least I can actually work on my truck now, kind of, for right now. So I think what I'm probably gonna do is just wrap this wire around here, and it's already tinned. It's not really working how I want it to. I'm gonna de-tin these. Wish the wind would stop blowing. I hate it when it just starts blowing and then you're just freezing cold. Oh, come on, you cocksucker. So what I like to do is I like to just smash the wires into each other. If they're thin enough, this is easy to do. It's nice to work under shelter. I'm hoping to get a... I'm looking at either renting or buying a house. I'll probably rent one, but I'm hoping I can get one with at least a 2-car garage. Have my own garage. So I can just work on stuff inside. I would like to put 2 pins on each one of these, but I'm not. For many reasons. One, I gotta go to the store and get them. Okay? And Radio Shack's closed. I don't have one nearby. And I want to go out to Wilsonville and go to Fry's. They have all the stuff I really need. And I don't want to have faulty connections. Have one light not work because the connection's all chooched. Oh, come on. Don't be a little prick. Wind up, you little bastard. Now, right now would be a good time to take a big piece of heat shrink and get it up here so that when we get these 2 connections established, I can just heat shrink over it, the whole thing, and have it be one big piece instead of all just, you know, nasty looking. You gotta be careful with those things. Perfect. So I think this is the size I need right here. Oh yeah. Okay, I need to find... I'm going to find a power wire, a red wire that'll go. I'll have as much as I need, and then we'll solder this and we'll just work our way down. I already found some. This one here I'm probably going to heat shrink over. Damn it, Adam. It's funny, you start off semi-neat and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, you wrap it up kind of neat and then all of a sudden it's just, you know, it's funny, someone left a comment, I think it was kind of a troll thing, but I actually thought it was funny because part of me was already thinking the same thing. But the guy's like, the guy with the free hug shirt, me, looks like a failed lesbian, and I actually thought that was hilarious because I was thinking the same thing. No, I'm not gonna go back and respond. So you know that was funny because you know who responded? Go, yeah, you're a fat. Okay, I guess I can't joke with them. Just people who have nothing better to do than just call people names. I'm just using rosin core. This, even though for how thick it is, that gets pretty hot and it melts on there pretty good. It's got flux in it too, so or rosin. Seems to work pretty good. That was a nice, you know, I'm not really going for beautiful solder connections. I am going for, I don't want a cold solder. I want full penetration, but it doesn't have to look like, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. So we were using this size. I'm using the skinnier tube. By the way, you can get this at AutoZone for like $12. I was just looking on Amazon and eBay, and they sell those like 6-spool wire racks for, I think it's like $150, but they're like 25 or 50 feet rolls. So eventually I'd like to get one of those so that when I go to wire stuff, I don't have to use my scrap wires. I can use those for repairs or whatnot, and then for wiring up stuff like this, I can have fresh wire and of the gauge that I want. So I think for lights, I like to run a little bit thicker than what we got here, but I think this will be fine for LED. There, that'll work. But when they're soldered up like this, then the connections aren't going to come apart unless they get hot. If these get hot enough to melt the solder, I would hope that the fuse goes. So this is going to be like this. This is going to be pulled back. So I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink tubing over this. So it'll be chained in like that. In the past, I would have used like electrical tape, but I really don't want this stuff to come apart. So I'm gonna, they tin the ends up, which is cool. Thank you guys, whoever made these. But I want to smash my wires together. I want to twist them, and then I'm going to solder them. So first off, where's that scrap? There's a scrap piece. Got to make sure we get this in. Now, when you're doing heat shrink tubing and soldering, take the heat shrink tubing, put it up there. So when this gets hot, and you got this here, it'll heat shrink around it, and you're like, damn it, solder here, let it cool off, run your wire. You'll be better off. I do actually have helping hands, but I don't have any jigs to like. I need to put a mag base on it and then stick it in the bumper and solder it. So maybe that will be a little side project. What about your short game, Jerry? Yeah, Jerry, what about your short game? Who roped you in this? He roped me. No, that guy over there roped me into this. Rick and Morty? Anybody watch that show? When I go to do this, I should have added another section of ground wire on there, so I need to go get a knife. What I do is I add an extension on here, then I'm gonna solder and heat shrink tube this, then I'm gonna put a big thing over here, heat shrink it in, and then we'll have our extensions for the next light. And I gotta make sure I assemble it like this, or else it's gonna be all dickered. There's a million other ways you could wire this together. Good thing I'm undercover. It's just started pissing down rain. Screw you! No. You can't flip off the Lord, you crazy shum bitch. Ping. How do I know when it's love? I don't know. Does love even exist anymore? maybe in the older generation, kind of just seems like everybody's. Never mind. Anyways, la 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 la. There are some people that just post on Facebook, and you're just like, what's wrong with this kid? You know, like, I mean, I shouldn't say anything. I used to do that, just posting about stupid shit, yelling, bitching, and moaning. It's not worth it. Living in a lonely world. And going anywhere. She's just a city boy. Living in a lonely world. That's good. We kind of want a service loop on this, so this will be fine. So this will come up, and then this will give us a service loop. Ah, fuck. Tubers. Tubers, how am I supposed to get power? Damn it. This is why I don't do this for a living, because I'd make a mistake and be like, why did you make that mistake? Shouldn't you know that? You should have checked. Harder, harder, harder. And then they just keep going on. They just won't shut the fuck up about how I made a mistake. It's like, dude, just shut up. Stop. I'm trying to fix this. I don't think we should hire you on, and blah, 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 and this and that. And you're just, like, I'm going to punch you in your fucking mouth. I would hate being a mechanic. Sorry, nope. Great. God damn it. F. Don't stop soldering. So now I've got to get the electrical tape this up, put the barnacle over it. It's trying to be all nice, have soldered connections and heat shrunk. Scissors don't work. There we go. That was a tight fit, that's for sure. There, we have to make sure we have ground and power sticking out of this. Hell yeah. So there's two wired up. So, slowly work down the assembly line here. I'm okay if they have to loop back, because then I don't have to cut as much new material. And then I'm just going to solder. So it'll be like that. And this will make it to the new one, and then we'll have wires go straight up. So, cut off there. So I'm gonna try and not screw up this time. Yeah. Put the heat shrink, and then we're gonna take this red wire. I'm curious to know, will this all fit over? This is probably one of the most tedious things. Sister Christian, man, blah, blah, blah. Sister Christian, blah, 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 blah. Motor Trend. Every time I hear this song, I think Motor Trend. Always doing stuff with Chevys. Never do anything with a Ford. And if we do, we don't do it right. And we do it really cheap, and it keeps breaking down because we did it really cheap. Oh, you cacksacker. Still like how I was on the phone with James some time ago, and we were talking about someone. It's like, Jimmy, his videos suck, and he has 500,000 subscribers. How? Alright. No. I don't want no barnacles hanging out. I hate that. you go to solder it and then you look at it and there's a big old barnacle hanging off of it. You're like, really? So you have to trim and shave it down. Now, would it be a good idea to test your wiring before you shrink it off? Yeah. So initially I was going to wire this up so that when I put the high or low beams on, or I mean just put my headlights on, the low beams come on, these come on, but still have the ability to turn them off if they're not needed. But I've decided to go ahead and wire them just completely separately. So what we'll do is we'll hook the relay up to the battery. We'll run our little key on wire over to the, not key on, switched 12 volt wire. We'll run that to that bare power wire, solder and heat shrink that, and then I'll just be able to flip the switch. It'll turn the relay on, turn these on. We have one last connection. I'm going to hunt for some thicker wire because I want to have a thick wire that's going to feed all four of these. Thicker power and ground. So give me a moment. I also had to get some coffee. Although it's pretty bad when you get to a point where you're like, I don't care if it's black or not. So what I'm trying to think of, do I want to cut, how much of this do I want to cut off? I don't know yet. So we're gonna move him out of the way. I don't have a 2-pin connector that has this gauge wire that I want to use, unfortunately. But this is the wire that I found here. It's a bit thick, but it'll be perfect to carry the load of all 3 lights, or all 4 lights, excuse me. Hey, it's Adam's favorite song. No, shut up! So I guess the story is on this song and why he hates it is he used to work for Burgerville. I think it was Burgerville. And he had a manager that would put this song on and he would crank it. But he would do it when like overweight women would come into the Burgerville. He'd crank it so you hear the song playing in the background. And I guess Adam said they got pissed. Oh man, I mean that's some funny stuff right there. That's great. So as I've been doing, we're just gonna cut a little bit off. You know, I'll cut a little bit more back. We'll do a little bit more. Now when we're all done here, I'm going to go through with the electrical tape and I'm going to loom this all up so it's one harness. And then just leave these to terminate out. But before we do that, I will test the wiring and make sure we'll kind of mock up the relay kit and we'll just make sure this all works. So, so how do I want to do this? Because we're going to have we may just do something like this. So we go something like this, right? We'll just put these together. And we have our 2 wires and then we'll have one will come over here. I think I'm going to do something like that. We're going to solder it, and then we'll take our ground wire. This blue wire is going to be the ground. It's kind of misleading, but it's what I got for that thickness. Soldering can be fun. Sometimes wiring can be just miserable.
It's done.
Okay. So because I have a lot of wire at the harness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a, you know what? You don't need any of this. I'll just chop these and solder them here. I don't know what I was thinking there. You ever like overthink something? You're like, wait a minute, I don't need that. You can get rid of that. Give me a second. I'm gonna go get some food. All right, I just got the terminals on the relay just kind of partially plugged into my battery. So I'm gonna stick these wires in somehow. You know, sometimes I wonder about myself. Positive to positive, negative to negative, red to black, black to black, red to red. All for work. Oh, it's yellowy in here. That's awesome. Those are freaking bright, man. Okay, so now I'm just trying to find a good spot to mount my relay. That spot's already taken. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a 10 mil and just undo the fender bolt right here and just bolt it there. I've already got the power and ground going to the lights, ran down to the down to where they're gonna be, and we'll cut off what we don't need. I've just put a brand new ground cable in this, so I think I'm gonna reuse this. I'm gonna find a plug, so we can put a plug on this. And you know, it's funny, they're about the same, almost the same gauge. I also have, there's another option. This is a key on ground, so when I turn the key on, this relay gets power, and it's what turns on my vacuum pump here. Well, it'll also turn on other accessories, like I use it for a battery relay, but I could use it to turn this on. So if I did leave these on, if I forget to turn them off, I turn the key off, these will power off. And I can't believe this has been sitting there the whole time. It doesn't need to be there anymore. Oh, tubers, I was about ready to have it throw a tantrum. I broke out the toolbox, and it's like the first 8mm I got is missing. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I just don't know. I was gonna get really mad. This has got grease on it, son of a diddly. So will this bolt go through? Yes, it will. Now, when you crank this back down, be careful, because you may crack that plastic. No, we don't want to do that, okay? So what we'll do on this here, I don't like crimp fittings, to be super honest with everybody. Ow! I pinched myself. That's a 24-year-old grunt right there. So I'm gonna put this all the way down there. So we're gonna solder and heat shrink it in. Then the power, I'm gonna loop and hide under a bunch of stuff here, and might be too thick. I might actually have it come back around. Hang on. Bob Saget. Bob Saget. Well, that's not gonna work. Hey, little sister, you're gonna marry my daughter. Wait, what? I don't want to electrical tape this. This tape sucks. What would be the correct way to do this? Undo it, try again. Be careful using an open flame around batteries. They let off a little bit of their chooch and boom! So let's solder together, not worry about that anymore. We've got power for a wide worder. Start again. Oh, hey, what do you know? That's probably why my voltmeter is saying 15 volts. So, have this come up through here. Maybe I can fit now. I want to have this sneak around. Yeah, we'll loop this around. I'll solder it into the cable. And that way, all the weight will be, weight will be on the thing. So, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down a little short. I'm going to reuse this end since it's here. It's good. I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. God, I am sore. I really haven't been doing much. I don't know why. And I need another piece of heat shrink tubing, although I'm going to go a little bit thicker. This is the size I should have used. So let's peel these back. My wayward son, when you are done, we head to death. Don't you cry no more. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. So my big question is, oh, here it is. Never mind, I don't have a big question anymore. There, we got full penetration there, we're good. Up on the wall there. You see that? What was that all about? Jeez. On it, and we'll just stab that in there. That's a lot better. There's not a whole lot of stress on that anymore. Now, we'll know if it works. We got our light there. Yep, she works. So I think we're done there. I'm gonna fix something I don't really like. So I got power, the headlight, no, don't fall off and make loud clanky noises. So that should be there. It's not wrapped around other cables now. This stuff's wrapped up anyway, so we shouldn't get any interference with. Electrical interference is something to be considerate of, so when you're running your wires, try not to cross things over. Make sure it's kind of insulated and routed in such a way that you will avoid some electrical shenanigans. So we got a little bit of a wire limb kind of just tucked away there. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go check my voltmeter real quick, see what that says now that we fixed that. Yeah, it seems to be fine. I'll see what it says when she's running. I think it's just gonna still say 15 volts. The last thing I'm gonna deal with here in this video is the switch. Let's go back downstairs and finish up our wiring. From the frame to about here. I think I'm not cut off this much. I'm gonna leave a little excess because you want to be able to. It's nice to be able to service things. So don't throw this away. This is good wiring. Be careful using a knife. You know, this is just a cheap little Gerber. It's a good little utility knife, little pocket knife, but they're dangerous. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. Oh well. Whoa. I'm gonna heat shrink it when I'm ready. When you're using these, if it just acts like it's not working, if this isn't getting hot enough, take it out and clean the connection. Hey, you know what I forgot to put on? Before I heat shrink that, I'm going to turn it on. It's got power. It works. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do the boring part and wrap all this in electrical tape. And then I'm going to tuck it up, zip tie everything, make sure it's not flopping around and getting caught on stuff, and then we'll do the last bit up top. Nicely secure. Trim off the excess. Just use those holes right up there, right here. So now I got my toolbox out, I can snug these up and get them loosely in place. I think these are all 13s. You can't even tell there's a wiring harness there now. That worked out perfectly. I'm just gonna kind of set them up loosely. I'm gonna go like that. I'm just wiggling it and then turning the nut at the same time. Hey, that's looking pretty good. I like that. There's a big old sequoia tree or whatever, and I think it was in California. They cut a hole in it so you could drive through the thing. And the guy was like, "Yeah, it fell over because of the wind, and because of the fact that it had a huge hole in it." You know. So the red wire, or the pink wire in this plug here, is the one we want. You just apply power to it and it turns on. So this is a good switch. It doesn't feel too chintzy, and it's got a plug on it. So I'm gonna try and salvage the other end here. So I just farted and it smells like hot garbage. Sorry, if you guys don't like it when I fart, you just get the hell out of here. Just stop watching. This channel's not for the fainted fart. So what I'm gonna do here, shit, boy, I tell you what. I have a zip tie floating around here. I'm gonna zip tie it right there. So, snip that, and then we'll push that down like that. Back along here, and it just reaches to that wire. So, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna take this plug here, and we're gonna cut it. I just put the switch in a safe spot so we can get at it later. And I'll just strip that back. So we just need the red wire. Cut the black off. Cut the yellow off. I could probably actually de-pin this. Well, we're almost done. This is pretty much it. We'll just plug her back in and call it a day. I'll call that a day right there. Oh, it's a henna now. Look. So I think what I'm going to do now, I was thinking about de-pinning this and putting a big thing of heat shrink over this to make it a little bit stronger, but that's okay. So we're going to take this plug and route it down like this. And then we'll just plug her in like that. That lights up the garage, man. Should be able to see pretty good at night with these. Well, that's going to conclude this video, and the next one we'll work on aiming them. But I think we're done with the wiring.